Caitlin Clark just landed another incredible endorsement. This time it's with Stanley Cups.
Once more, Caitlin Clark has succeeded. This time she is holding a cup rather than a basketball. That cup indeed. The Stanley that everyone is discussing. Your mother desires one. They are gathered by your aunt. And on campus, all college. Students flaunt them. Well, Stanley's sales went completely crazy as a result of Clark's most recent contract. She can make headlines without even setting foot on the court. She has such a strong impact that goods are actually disappearing from stores. Here's the question now. Does Caitlin Stanley's collaboration truly surpass some of her most significant basketball achievements? Let's be honest, this sponsorship is not a casual one. Sales immediately soared once Caitlin Clark hooked up with Stanley, the Cup World's king. This goes beyond simple support. A cultural takeover is occurring. These days, Clark sells more than just footwear and jerseys. She sells lifestyle products. The vibe is being sold by her. Additionally, fans are buying it like crazy. This is the reason it works. In the market, Stanley was already a monster. Their cups become fashion accessories. In order to obtain the limited pastel drops, people set up camp outside Target. Online, resellers sold flipped mugs for triple digits. The most marketable athlete in women's sports, Caitlin Clark, follows next. When you include her, you have a brand deal that was sure to be a huge success. The photo session ended. Caitlin Clark, wearing Nike sweatpants and sporting Stanley Cups in Indiana Fever colors, grinned as if she had foreseen the impending online explosion, and that's precisely what took place. Social media went crazy in a matter of minutes. With TikToks going viral and screenshots all over the place, people are asking, when can we buy her version? Right now. The weird part comes next. Even before the cups were formally released, resale organizations were already very active. It's more than just hype. It is the epitome of dominance. Let's be honest though, there is more to this than Clark selling cups. Clark is demonstrating that she can manage the culture outside of basketball. Nike, sports, fashion, Wilson, and Gatorade Sports. But that's mainstream Stanley. That includes office workers, mothers, and college students. Because it's in style, those who might not watch a second of the WNBA will nonetheless purchase a Caitlin Clark Stanley Cup crossover. Power at its strongest is that. Naturally, the detractors also appeared. Why does she keep getting deals? She is not worthy of it. It's only a cup. The same old complaints. Here's the truth though, sales are honest. Stanley is soaring to fame, shops are running out of inventory, and the only distinction is that the product now bears Caitlin Clark's name. Therefore, you can call it hype, but the cash register says otherwise.
Still at will maintaining to land deals is, legendary. And not to mention, she still got to deal with Gatorade as well. So for her to land this Stanley deal is just, I know a lot of people talk about her agent not being there for her agent doing all these things. I got to give it to her agent, bro. Now, granted, would Caitlin Clark be getting these deals if she didn't have her agent? Probably. But she still got to give we still got to give some credit to the agent. This is a nice cup here. I don't think I ever seen one like that. This is legendary right here. And Caitlin looks super happy to have this deal as well.
Let's use numbers to analyze it. Stanley was already earning billions of dollars annually. However, everything picked up speed as soon as Caitlin Clark's collaboration teasers were released. Traffic to the website increased by double digits. Her line saw a spike in pre-orders. Even standard Stanley Cups were out of stock at some locations. Since fans didn't want to miss out, they anticipated that Clark's edition would be limited. That is referred to as the Taylor Swift effect. Everything that has to do with her becomes frantic. This is where the humor starts. Consider yourself among the doubters who said Clark was merely hype, only to see her sell water bottles more quickly than NBA players sell sneakers. It's nearly humorous. People continue to question her. She is a movement every time she demonstrates that she is more than just an athlete. Let's now discuss strategy. Stanley did more than simply put Clark's name on a single cup. They unveiled an extensive collection. There are 5 distinct models: the traditional cup, the tumbler, the water bottle, the jug, and even a travel-friendly version. as well as the hues, blue, fever red, Iowa gold, and a faint shade of gray. Her whole career seems to be laid out in colors. Additionally, fans were purchasing all 5 in order to collect them rather than just one. It's more than just an endorsement. That rollout was well thought out. That's brilliant marketing. Caitlin Clark didn't appear stiff or out of place when the trailer was released. The important thing is that she appeared normal, laughing, posing, and holding a cup as if it were any other day. Because lifestyle advertisements aren't their lane, many athletes feel uncomfortable appearing in them. However, Clark enters with ease. Brands continue to pursue her because of this. She is iconic enough to spark a frenzy, yet personable enough for regular consumers. This is when things get wild. She was hurt while doing all of this. Consider that, despite missing almost half of the season, her endorsement career has continued to grow. Highlight reels are necessary for most athletes to remain relevant. All Clark needs is a press release and a photo shoot. Haters can't take it because it demonstrates that she is more than just a box score. That is the definition of brand strength. Let's compare now. Other WNBA players also have endorsement contracts. AJ Wilson is wearing her Nike sneaker. Sabrina Ionescu has a line of her own. Reebok signed Angel Reese. All excellent moves. However, none of them are selling lifestyle goods on the same scale as Clark. Who else, after all, is convincing Boston accountants and soccer moms in Iowa to spend $40 on a cup? She is the owner of Clark's Lane. Indeed, there are others who complain. $60 for a cup. It's a fraud. Really? Without blinking, you'll spend $100 on a Bath & Body Works candle. But all of a sudden, Clark Stanley is too much. Put an end to it. Due of the connection's perceived worth, these cups are selling out. They are purchasing more than simply drinkware. They are accepting Caitlin Clark's account. Don't get me wrong, this isn't just hype for Stanley. This serves as a guide for upcoming transactions. Other lifestyle companies are keeping a careful eye on things. If Clark can make cups trendy, just think of what she could do with fashion, furnishings, or even technology. Basketball isn't the ceiling anymore. Wherever she chooses to take it, that is. Let's summarize the first phase of this craziness. Stanley's partnership with Caitlin Clark goes beyond simple support. It demonstrates that she has transitioned from basketball star to cultural icon. Fans who have never even attended a Fever game are the ones she is trying to sell to. Without taking the court, she is causing products to go viral. Additionally, she is forcing detractors to explain why a cup sold out more quickly than some shirts. The larger picture is shown here. Sneakers have been the ultimate athletic endorsement for many years. The limited drops, the gaudy hues, and the Jordans. That was the method used to quantify cultural effect. Until now, anyhow. Caitlin Clark changed the course of events. She demonstrated her appeal without the need for footwear. Cups are the latest must-have thanks to her. Consider it. Clark Stanley Cups have unexpectedly become very popular in the resale market, which typically obsesses over Jordans and Yeezys. Clark colorways are now being traded on forums where individuals often debate shoe sizes. That's the enthusiasm of sneaker culture channeled into drinkware. And if that seems absurd, it is absurd in a way that generates revenue. This goes beyond a simple endorsement. Clark is changing the whole definition of athlete marketing. Sports equipment is no longer the exclusive use for it. She is moving into lifestyle areas that are already inhabited by her devotees. Everyone uses a water bottle, but not everyone purchases basketball sneakers. The data demonstrate how brilliantly Clark and Stanley came up with that solution. Now, let's talk about the haters who never fail to appear. They are using the same old boring argument. Cups, not championships, are what she sells, as like winning on the court somehow negates winning off it. Despite her injuries, the deals continue to come in. It's not a sign of weakness. Strength is that. It indicates that her brand has grown beyond the standings. And let's face it, those same critics would have hailed it as revolutionary if another WNBA player had signed this exact contract. However, critics quickly reduce it to merely a cup because it has Caitlin Clark. This unfair treatment of her speaks more about them than it does about her. In actuality, they dislike the fact that she controls every discussion, every headline, and every product introduction. Unfortunately, the market has already made up its mind. This agreement demonstrates why companies can no longer overlook women's sports from a business standpoint. Clark was not signed by Stanley out of altruism. Money was the reason they signed her. She caused TV ratings to soar, venues to sell out, and internet traffic to soar. They were aware that adding her name to their goods would increase sales. And now that it has, other lifestyle businesses are going to follow. Imagine it, Caitlin Clark kitchenware, home furnishings bearing the Clark trademark, and even tech partnerships. What do you suppose Target or Apple would do with her name on their products if Stanley could shatter sales records with cups? This Stanley agreement is a precedent rather than merely a collaboration. Officially, Clark has transcended sportswear to become a major cultural force. Check out her portfolio. Check Nike, check Wilson, check out Gatorade, check Panini, check now Stanley. That equates to 5 distinct industries: lifestyle, collectibles, beverages, footwear, and equipment. If they are able to crack 2 of those, most athletes are lucky. Even though Clark is only in her 2nd year as a professional, she is already dominating 5. Take a moment to process that. The worst part is still to come. Whether they acknowledge it or not, the WNBA also gains. It's not just Clark who wins when she sells out Stanley Cups. It draws attention to the league as a whole. The WNBA and the Indiana Fever always follow her when she trends. Networks and sponsors continue to raise their investments as a result. They are aware that Clark elevates women's basketball to the fore. Naturally, not all league members adore that. The attention she receives makes some players feel overshadowed. That makes sense. But let's face it, this is economics, not bias. Companies put money into the person who drives the market, and that's Caitlin Clark at the moment. That won't change unless someone else starts transporting goods by the truckload. And take a look at the plan. College students and suburban mothers have long been Stanley's largest customer base. Who exactly overlaps with that? Clark's following: mothers who supported her throughout her run in Iowa, families who bring Fever games, and students who don her shirts. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a perfectly executed, targeted play. The figures support it. Following Clark's launch, traffic to Stanley's website increased. Within hours, stores reported shortages. Pre-orders nearly immediately reached their maximum. Listings for 2 or 3 times the retail price were common in resale markets. That doesn't happen with just any partnership. That occurs when supply cannot keep up with demand, and Caitlin Clark is the one driving demand at the moment. What does this signify in the long run then? It indicates that Clark is creating a brand independent of basketball season there. Is an off season for the WNBA. Endorsements don't. Every day, Stanley's influence may be seen in schools, offices, gyms, and kitchens. When she hits 30, her fans do more than simply applaud. They really take a sip from her cup. Permanent. Brand integration is what that is. That is brilliance. The finest part comes next. She has only just begun. We're talking about more than just a basketball release. If Caitlin Clark's signature shoe launches in 2026 as supporters anticipate, it might ignite a global movement. When you combine that with lifestyle alliances, we find ourselves looking at a sportswoman who has the potential to become a millionaire before her career is even over. To those who have doubts, it may sound absurd, but her journey makes it seem very genuine. Stanley and other deals simply serve to confirm it. Nevertheless, the critics continued to change the story. They first asserted that she would never pack arenas. She did. They went on to say that brands wouldn't align. Currently, she has more endorsements than any other player in the league. They then contended that she was unable to transfer lifestyle items. Look around then. That's exactly what she's doing. Clark continues to blast through the goalposts regardless of how far they travel. It's not about selling mugs in the Stanley deal. The goal is to establish supremacy. It demonstrates that Clark's impact extends beyond the hardwood. She can influence culture, shift products across industries, and use real data to quiet any critics.